Hey, so welcome everyone. This is our first live stream for Bot Games Season 2. This is a recap of our first week for Bot Games Season 2. So just as an intro, everyone go to this poll EV that we've got marked down below and let us know where you're dialing in from or where you're joining from. There's a cool map there. Instead of people just shouting out the country on their on the chat, we're gonna see how good Lara is at geography. No, I've actually pulled up a map. I don't know. It looks like I see in Algeria. One might be Ethiopia.
Yeah, a lot of people from India.
A lot from the UK. You guys are pulling some weird countries so that I can't. Senegal?
Oh.
I have to cheat. It's been a while since I've taken geography.
We have a lot of people from England. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you had fun with this first week's challenge. We were doing the auction sniper. Lara, you want to switch over and we'll start to talk about some of this week's stuff?
Yes, for sure. Let's do it. Just a quick reminder of this week's challenge. So you guys had to win an auction, ideally at the best price possible, right? And I've never participated or joined an auction before. Have you bid on something?
You've never done an online auction?
Never.
Did you do this challenge?
This I did. This was my first auction experience.
Yeah, so this is very similar to the way that like eBay works, which is a popular bidding site. Yes. There are others that are kind of like that, but eBay I think is pretty global. But yeah, so the way that it works is you would fill in what is your max bid, and you would try to give that max bid, and then it's going to automatically bid up by a set increment. Usually it's like $1 for low value auctions like this, and then it will automatically continue to max you out. So if I bid $500 and Lara bid $275, it would put the auction at $276 because my bid was larger than hers, right? So that's the way that works. Lara, let's put up the chat here. I want to see other stuff that people have won through auctions. What kind of stuff would you guys be bidding on if we had a real auction right now? So yeah, I have done a lot of online auctions. I mentioned on social this week, like one of the things that I tried to buy for the longest time was a Dreamcast, and I lost so many auctions trying to buy a Dreamcast in like the early 2000s. I was so frustrated, and it's one of those things where like you see yourself with that item, and then when you don't get it, you get really upset because you didn't get it. So if you could type in the auction right now, what would you buy? Micah's clothing and shoe collection. Private jet, that's a good one. Phone, these are all good things. iPhone.
PS5, that's a good one. I know that. Prayer Nikes. Sneakers.
Seiko Pogue watch. I like the specificity of that.
Shoes also.
Shoes. Yeah, lots of people would buy shoes. Shoes is really popular on
Twitter shares.
Twitter shares. What is Twitter share? Oh, shares of Twitter. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Bot game swag. Oh.
Bot game swag. There's going to be some of that. Boston
the
Dynamics
Dog. That's a good answer.
Yeah. Vintage bot game swag. Yeah, so that's going to be a cool thing, right? When we're in like the 5th and 6th season of bot games and you can't get these shirts anymore, and you can have like an OG bot game shirt.
Yeah, I'm going to cherish mine. I'm not going to sell it.
Very cool.
Nice.
That's interesting. Yeah, so the auction for this week was just in fun. Obviously, none of this stuff is actually going to ship to you, but or at least the stuff on this auction page. But the fun thing about it was that unlike the other challenges we did, where it was like go really, really fast and load the page and pre-cache stuff and everything like that, this time we're trying to go really slow to then go really fast at the end. So that's why this challenge was a little bit trickier than others that we've done. And trickier in a different way. So just wanted to kind of force people to think about things in a different way.
Yeah, I like that people were commenting that this challenge was a lot different from the ones that we had last year, last August, because people were trying to be the fastest, but that's not like that's not gonna get you a win on this. So you have to go like, we have to really look at the time left, and then you have to go fast. So it's kind of like you wait and then you go. So it was super fun seeing all the posts on LinkedIn and on socials. We're going to take a look at those in just a little bit. I imagine that you guys saw the tutorial at this point. If not, we're going to take a quick look at some of the tips and tricks that you guys can use for this challenge. So I guess starting with the loop package that we have here, looping on our screen.
Yeah, so there's an actual package looping, which I think was an awesome ad by you. That's very creative. The thing that I like about the loop package for this one is I had done lots of looping before in different bot builds. I had not found a great use case for while loops, right? I just hadn't used it in any of the builds that I've been doing. So this was a great use case for a while loop so that you could basically just keep checking that time and keep checking until it got to the 0 or 1 second mark, then maybe do a short delay and then actually execute your bid. So I think that was a great use of the while loop. And
For sure.
I know that some people did that, some people did not. The way that we did our tutorial showed using the while loop. I would encourage at least trying it that way so you can see how that loop type works.
Yes, and even if you want to try and get as close to 0 as possible, you can. But if you're thinking of a real auction, I would try to get just like win it, not thinking about how close to 0 I got. I had some fun and I added like another while loop for if the last person that bid it wasn't me, then I'll just bid again. But that only kicked off at the last second because I don't want to keep bidding at the entire time because I don't want the price to go up, right? So I added that also, and I think that could work. But I was so close to 0 that maybe that loop part didn't even kick off. But that's something that I added just for like, if I really want to get that item and I really have the money to pay for it, then let's do it,
Yeah, that's the other thing. You don't want to make a max bid that you can't actually pay.
You don't want to make a max bid, of course. And then just at the last second, that other while loop kicked off. As like, if I'm not the last one, then someone else bid after me, then I'm going to bid again. And apparently that worked. I got, many shoes out of that auction.
Yeah, no, I think another thing I saw on this was that a lot of people went very, very, very close to 0, right? And if you're really trying to win an auction, they probably noticed that they started to lose some after they got so close to 0. It wasn't a consistent result because your timing wasn't exactly perfect. You didn't know exactly when that auction was going to end down to the that millisecond. So in a real auction, you'd probably want to say, hey, at 1 second to 2 seconds left, I'm going to execute my bid. In case there's any margin for error, you can still hopefully get it in if it's an item you really wanted to buy.
Yes, and I think that really reinforces the use of the while loop, because if you just add a delay, that can, fail. And also, I think we should mention, I know that we covered this on the tutorial, but when using while loops, you have to be careful to not end on an infinite loop. Like this package right here is on an infinite loop. So you should be careful or mindful when applying this to, production bots. Add some error handling, some verifications to see if you really need to keep going or not. And then I think you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. The other big tip was the string extract text package, or action, I should say. But within the string package, there's an extract text action that enables you to, I really like it a lot. It's a little bit confusing to read the way that the fields are laid out though, because it has like before, after, and then before and after. And I always have to read it 2 or 3 times before I really understand how to use that one.
Same.
But that one is really powerful. And if you think about the similar functionality that you would do in VB or JavaScript or any other language, usually it's like, I'm going to extract text at the beginning or I'm going to extract text at the end, but it's usually based on like a number of characters or something like that. With this, you have the ability to basically say, I'm looking for everything that comes before this word, or I'm looking for everything that comes between these 2 words. So it's a really powerful way to be able to extract text from a larger string. In this case, it was a number of seconds remaining plus the word seconds. And so we want to extract just that number, and we don't care about the part seconds. So you could use the extract text You could also use the string text replace and just take out the word seconds and replace it with nothing, and then do that before you ultimately convert this to a number variable.
Yes, many ways to do this, many different ways to accomplish the same result. And we're happy that you guys had the chance to, build your bots. And then once the tutorial went out, you actually learned something different. And that's awesome. We were so glad to see that you were improving your RPA skills and also learning something new. So that's very cool. And I think the last tip we have here is getting a dog to help you. If you guys were were here on the 1st of April, there was a video that went out where Micah spilled all the beans about the truth of RPA. And if you haven't seen that, you have to check it out. It's on your profile. It's on YouTube as well. There's even a website, guys. He's spilling like all the secrets.
It's the RPA conspiracy theory that dogs are the ones doing all of this stuff, and it's not really bots. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's just a fun video. But it was funny to see other people posting pictures of their dogs working at computers. It's something we all have caught our dogs doing once or twice.
At some point, right? It happens. And Otis, like Micah's dog Otis, was such a good actor. I hope he got a lot of treats after that, because he for sure deserved it.
Yeah, making it look easy.
Okay, so we can take a look at some of the different approaches that we got here. Let me just take a peek and see if there's something different in here. Oh, wow. We have more answers: Bitcoin, NFT, guitar.
I thought I saw Rivian. Did that show up?
Rivian?
Yeah, the electric truck.
Hot coffee.
Gaming PC.
Crypto. Oops.
Yeah, they're all over the place. This is hard to read. Yeah, Rivian.
It's hard to read, yeah.
There it is. Glad to see some more people want an Xbox out here. I was a little bit disappointed to see so many PS5s floating around.
PS5. Okay. So we saw some different approaches. As we mentioned, it's like different ways to do and accomplish the same thing with RPA. And that's, I think, one of the beauties of bot games, that we have the chance to really explore those different ways to build the same bots and go over the same challenge, and we have that feedback instantly, right? If I want to see if one, if there's a way to optimize my code, I want it to go faster, or to be more accurate, I can get that feedback instantly, because the page gives us the score immediately. And we saw some people, actually a lot of people, right, using the web automation package or even JavaScript to build this challenge. So I have a few screenshots.
Yeah, so Danuji, I think, used the web automation package. I think what's really interesting about this one is, if you're comfortable with JavaScript, you can use the browser run JavaScript action. If you're comfortable with the web automation package and using Selenium, which ultimately is dependent on JavaScript as well, then you can use that. But the reality is you can actually use the inbuilt packages as well, right? So the way that we did that demo or the tutorial, just using the recorder package and the capture action, you're really going to get pretty much the same result for this one. I was actually admittedly very surprised at how well the recorder capture action was working inside of that while loop, right? Because it was continuously having to update the amount of seconds left. And it did so very accurately, to the point that it was consistently giving me a score of whatever it was. I think in the tutorial was 700 milliseconds left, and you could shave off time from there, and so you could get that. I think a lot of people were chasing that 0.00x time. Yeah. So you can still do that using the built-in recorder package, and I don't think that it's necessarily faster in this case to use JavaScript or the web automation package.
Yes.
But I think, back to your point, I do love the fact that we have all of these different tools that I can use. And so I think the big takeaway here is not to say that one approach is ultimately the best one you should always use, but if I'm running into an issue or I have some kind of automation opportunity that I'm taking on, I have all of these tools available to me. And it's then up to me to determine which ones I want to prioritize based on my comfort level of working with these different tools, or based on how comfortable I am with JavaScript or writing
Correct.
in other scripting languages. So I think that's an important takeaway for an RPA developer is like, hey, I'm going to try this first. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try this one. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try this one, right? And kind of thinking through what that approach waterfall might look like for you based on the situation, based on what you're trying to solve, things like that.
Yes, and I think this first challenge was a perfect opportunity for that, because you read, you watch the video of what the challenge is about, you build it once, and then you already know like the use case, what the process is. So now you get to work with different technologies, different packages, which brings me to our next. We have one, and you want to hear from you guys. What tools, what packages did you use? What approaches did you take for this one? So I'm just going to get it live right now. So if you're on pauliv.com/gobigreat, your screen is going to change a little bit now. So feel free to share with us. We're going to take a look at it in just a minute. And just something that I was going to mention as well is that when we use the string package and replace or extract, I like that it's, as you mentioned, it's so powerful, but it's so easy to use, right? Because you can just say like, get the seconds out of here, and then we're left with the numbers. And that kind of string manipulation, I think it takes a big part in like many bots, not to say all of them, but like many processes and bots, we're bound to do some kind of string manipulation. And it's a built-in package that it's so powerful, and I like that, that it's accessible and intuitive to use. It's easy to use.
Yeah,
so very
and
fun.
On that same point, I think it's great that you don't have to have a CS degree to be able to just manipulate variables.
Exactly,
right?
That's the point. Exactly.
And I think that's a big differentiator for Automation Anywhere, is that like, hey, you can do a lot of this stuff just built in. You don't have to use web automation. You don't have to use JavaScript. Obviously, these people did, and that's totally cool. And I like the solution. I like the creativities, but you don't have to do that. You can do all of this with just the available tool set that's on the left-hand side of your screen. If you want to, amp it up to an 11 and use some of these other packages and approaches, then that's awesome. It's a tool that you can grow into for sure.
For sure. So I'm going to, let's take a look at what we have next, as I give it a minute on the poll thing, and feel free to reply on that as we go along. We have another very fun share here that we got from LinkedIn. So Shreya, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Shreya completed the challenge using version 11. And Micah dared her to complete it on A360 by the time, before the tutorial went out. And she did complete the challenge. So well done. You're getting swag. And that's what I liked about this is that she completed on version 11, but she quickly did it on A360, which to me proves the point that it's easy to do it on A360. Of course, I'm biased to say that, but what do you guys think? Let us know. I'm looking at the chat right now.
Would you have been less proud of her if you found out that she had migrated that bot?
No, because migration is also a step by itself. So I'll ask her about migration stuff. It's all in. Yeah. It works.
Shreya has joined on the on YouTube. So I'm not saying that she migrated it, and if she did, that's fine with me. But I think the important thing to call out here is that like, you've built it on V11. You're maybe very familiar with V11, and all of us went through this at one point, right? We were very much like V11 experts, and we were used to building that way. And then all of a sudden, this new interface comes out, and it's got this weird flow view that we're not used to, and the commands look different, and the way that we do looping through Excel is totally different. And so in this situation, right, I wanted Shreya to show that, hey, what is it like to be able to build this on Automation 360? What is it like to build this on V11? This is a great way to be able to learn the different approaches and to build comfort with A360, especially if it's something you've already done on V11. So if you're still on V11 and you're looking to migrate, this would be a good opportunity to try to build it in both places so you can see what the differences are like.
Yes, we have a few answers here.
Web automation, lots of loops.
I saw many of those, like the while loop, and then at the end, just add a delay, and people kept tweaking the amount of delay to get like that perfect score, as close as possible to 0. Wait condition until 1 second. Trying to
kill time.
randomness after 1 second. While loop, well done. Add 10 to the bidding with JS, more affordable bid. Yes, that's something to think about. It won't work if you just add like a insane value, because there's always someone there to get you. They are going to bid, a little bit more than you. So exact time, that time left change. If included with the 001. Oh, that's cool. If you, one person is saying here, I was chasing the 0.000x and had the bot running continuously, taking screenshots if time included 0.000. With 0 seconds.
That's a good approach to make sure you get the best time, right?
Yes, because then you're thinking like
logging those, right? Because we talked about in the tutorial, log those, keep track of them, keep track of those GUIDs at the very bottom too, which is that like validated scoring.
Yes.
0, enter 999. Yeah, so I think another thing that tripped people up, I didn't hear about this a ton on LinkedIn, but I did have some people reach out to me just saying like they weren't totally familiar with the bidding process of an auction.
Yes.
Right? Like I just want to go $1 over whatever they have, but then I'll get outbid. So I think the concept of like a max bid and then like knowing that you're not going to pay 500 if you bid 500 necessarily, I think that maybe confused people just a little bit. So apologies on that one, but I think hopefully people kind of got the idea.
Yes, and as I mentioned, I never, participated in an auction. I had an idea, but I thought that if I bid like 500, the price would go up 500 immediately. Kind of like, when people get their thing is to just like saying, I got, 1 million here, 1 million here, 2 million on the back. I thought that was closer, but it makes more sense to just go $1. I think I was probably taking the side of the person selling it, because I was thinking like, yeah, it's better if people just like bid a lot of money, then it's better for me if I'm selling it.
Yeah.
But then I understood it like in minutes, and then I got to it. So now I'm ready for my next auction. I'll just like reuse the bot that I did for this one.
This is good practice for your auction. Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready for it now.
Got 2 dogs to do it. That's a good one.
Got my dog to do it. Awesome. Let's go back to our slides here, and a little bit more to share with you guys. Let me just see here. So another cool thing that we saw is Jim Frost, which he mentions that he's not an RPA developer. He managed to complete the challenge, from back to back, and that went smoothly. He wrote an article about it. It's up now on the RPath Automation page on LinkedIn if you guys want to take a look at it. Jim Frost is also one of the A-listers, so he got the chance to take a look at the challenge a little bit earlier to help us test it and make sure that everything's working properly. So thank you for that, and thank you for writing that article. I think it really shows that we have this opportunity to learn a little bit more about RPA, even as you mentioned, even if you don't have a degree on anything, like if you're not tech savvy, you can get it done, and it just takes a little bit of time to sit down, take a look at the video, understand what the process is about, and you can maybe do the challenge by yourself, like manually, to see how that works, and then you can start to think about how to build a bot for that. So that was very cool to see.
Yeah, a good quote from that article says, "In the spirit of competition, Jim took the introductory challenge himself and produced great results despite not being a developer." So we didn't downplay Jim. He's a smart guy.
He mentions it. Yes.
Is not defined as a developer by himself. And it says, this goes to show that with the right training, citizen developers can effectively use this platform too. And that gets back to what we were just talking about, right? If you just use the packages here, you don't have to be a CS major. You don't have to have this extensive background in development. It's just learning to use the capabilities of the platform that are already built in, finding examples of where you can learn and apply some of these things, and then actually applying them to solve problems. And if you're a aspiring citizen developer or someone who's a business user that says, I'm interested in RPA, but I don't really know if I can build a full out process, that's totally fine, right? No one's expecting you to build a full end-to-end, global company dependent process your very first day. Start with some really small automations, some stuff that you can build into, maybe some stuff like this that's like just kind of for fun, or stuff that helps you in your own personal life. And then you can start to expand on that, right? You kind of crawl before you walk, before you run, and build these small projects. If you just use them for yourself, if you never show them to anyone, that's fine, right? Like that's how you start to learn, and then you can start to expand on those and contribute more.
Yes, and
So,
also
shout
if
out
you
to
have
Tim.
like
Thank you so much for that.
Yes, and if you have a friend that it works not in a tech related job and wants to migrate, I think RPA is it's an interesting career choice, because I see many people that are from accounting, human resources, that they see the value in RPA and they want to learn more. So you can direct those people to the developer portal. There are learning paths there. There are challenges that are even simpler than this one. So really anyone can do it, and feel free to reach out to us on People on Dev Portal, because this is what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we have two shout outs for two teams. There were many that we wanted to shout out and include here, but one of them is Team Tangentia. So and actually we have I think Vishal Patil, he nominated our Akanksha. Is that right? Correct me in the chat, please. Akanksha Amankar. And she completed the challenge, and many others completed as well. So keep the posts and shares coming. We are looking at all of them. We're trying to keep up with all of the posts and shares and mentions. And it's very fun and cool to see people challenging each other, and some of them even completing the challenges together, doing screen recordings and sharing them. And I think it was that Akish that he added a little dog on his share. I don't know if that was him. Someone, I forgot his name, but he added a little dog. So we're trying to keep up with all of those. Thank you so much for sharing, and keep the hashtag team, company going, because we're taking a look at those. Well done. And there's also another one here, which is the team Extra Tech Power. So well done. And
we called them that, by the way. I don't think they called themselves that. They called it Extra Tech Power.
Exactly. It's Extra Tech Power. I just added the hashtag team Extra Tech Power because I liked the team thing, but I'm looking at all of them, all of those hashtags. So keep them coming. Zach actually shared that he got a bid with 0 seconds remaining. He mentions in the comments that he did a lot of tweaking on his code, right? I think that was it.
Yeah, it is possible. So he didn't cheat on it, right? This is a real result. It's just you have to be very, very specific, because if you look at the number of digits that we're capturing the time down to, you've got to perfectly nail it to be able to get that. So it is a possible time. It does take some precision. I think probably a little bit of luck too.
Yes,
you can get a 0 time.
Yes, I asked someone, they got 0.3 zeros or more. And I asked them, how did you get a number like that? And they were just luck. So I like that there's also a little bit of luck involved. Again, if you really want to win the auction, you have to take a look at other factors. But still, it was fun seeing people putting the time and effort to really get that number closest to 0. And if you're challenging yourself, then that's the goal. So good job on that one. And I think those are all the shout outs we have for today, Micah.
Yeah, those are great. Is this the last slide?
No. Now we go to the part where, if you're watching this, if you're here with us on this live stream, you get a little bit of a head start for next week's challenge, because we are going to take a peek at what the next challenge is about. What can you tell us, Micah? Just a little bit.
Next week is it will be back to, you can try to go fast, and you'll be rewarded for that. But you're going to have to do a lot of multi-page automation stuff, right? And I think that that's like, as you progress from being able to automate like a single thing, and maybe it goes between one or two applications, when you start to think about navigating through an application and going to the menu system and being able to switch pages and things like that, I think that's where you really can start to step up the next level of maturity in your bot building. So that's what this one starts to introduce, and it will require you to read some data, look up some data, validate some data, and then make a decision on some things. So this is another fun challenge. I would say that this one is more difficult than last week, but not as difficult as week 3. So we're ramping our way up to our most challenging exercise for Bot Game Season 2.
Yes, get ready, practice, because practice makes perfect. In the spirit of thinking of next challenges, I have just put up a poll, which I'm seeing that we have an answer already. So let us know, what would you like to see next? What challenge? What
that one's probably about me, right? The dancing.
Visionary developers dancing. We have to do some like the dances and do some like string operations, web automation, or something like that. So let us know. We're going to be looking at this later. So do leave your answers here. And again, don't forget to register, because then you get notified as soon as the next challenge goes live. And you have to be registered to be eligible for swag, as well as tagging other developers. And just like ping them, message them, and say like, hey, I tagged you, let's do it together. Let's see how we can compare, our bot builds and do it together, because it's so much fun. We're trying to keep up with all the posts, but do keep sharing them, tag us, because we for sure want to be taking a look at what approaches you guys are using and what packages, if the challenge is like too hard, too easy, too complex, if you want to see something else. And do let us know, because we are with like our eyes and ears up looking at all of your posts on social. So thank you so much for sharing and for joining.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks everyone for joining this live stream. We'll be emailing everyone who was shouted out here with your swag codes later today. So be on the lookout for those. And we'll also be doing random acts of swag throughout the week, this week and next week. So
yes.
Be on the lookout for messages from our social media team and representatives from Automation Anywhere. We'll be emailing you codes for redeeming swag. This year's swag is a Bot Game shirt, like we have pictured there, and some Bot Games stickers, which are pretty cool.
Yep. I am so excited for this shirt. I'm wrapping the Season 1 shirt. So I have
You're
that.
You're auction that off, right? That's one of the vintage.
I'm not auctioning that. No. I'll have it like in a frame or so. I'm actually gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. This one is mine. So if you want yours, be sure to join us. There's still time. You can complete the first week challenge, which is this one, the auction challenge that we talked about. And this one that we have blurred out here, it's going to be live on Monday. And then you have until Thursday to complete the challenge. So join us and let's earn some swag.
Sounds good.
Swag.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, guys.
It'll be great. We'll see you next week.